Ladies and gentlemen, what a game it was today. Game 5, Phoenix Suns versus the Clippers, and this was a pretty eventful one, with the score ending 102 from Phoenix to 116 by the Clippers. So the Clippers do stay alive. Now, as everything's settled, it's 3-2. And really, this game showed us that Paul George, well, as you can see here, he's not playing around anymore. We might be able to start seeing a bit of playoff P. Although this being said, I think there is still some rust from Chris Paul still, which we could see out on the floor. He did end up having 22 points and 8 assists, which is pretty good, considering, his poor performance since the COVID lockdown, or, not at his particular standards. So that's good to see. Mikal Bridges and Jay Crowder, I think, are going to be real difference makers, though, for that Phoenix Suns team over there. Both of them only finished with a very small amount of points for the minutes they played. And they had 5 points from Mikal Bridges, 4 points from Jay Crowder. Cam Johnson ended with 14, which is pretty good, and Cam Payne as well. He needs to be able to step it up. He's only got 5 points there. So a lot of their players who had a lot of high minutes were not scoring a lot. It seemed like there was a lid on the rim tonight for the Suns. But let's go have a look at the Clippers now and look at how they did. 41 points for Paul George. That is pretty sweet, if you do have to say so. And he matched that with 13 rebounds and 6 assists, so it's a very nice double-double there. And that's actually his playoff career high. Never scored anything as high as 41 points. Marcus Morris Sr. as well led the team in the start, the first half particularly. He was the MVP then, if you heard Stephen A. Smith. He said so. 22 points for him, 2 assists and 3 rebounds. And then Terrence Mann, who we've seen to have a pretty good performance, didn't really do much tonight, but he was given 26 minutes and only got 4 points out there. But he was playing some good defense, so the minutes were well used. And Reggie Jackson coming in clutch with 23 points, and Boogie Cousins with 15. So overall, a good night for the Clippers, playing to stay in it, as they did. And interestingly, with Zubats out, they went small ball. And it seems to be a recurring theme that the Clippers and small ball work very well together. We've seen this before. The Clippers, of course, against the Jazz, where they absolutely decimated Rudy Gobert. They just went crazy. But yeah, the small ball seems to be the way to go, especially for this Clippers team and the perimeter shooting. Now overall, in terms of rebounds, the numbers were quite even. The 3-point percentage was pretty much similar too, although the field goal percentage was a bit higher for the Clippers. 45.2 for the Suns and 54.8 for the Clippers over there. Assist numbers very similar too, although the turnover numbers really, everything was pretty similar, but the turnover numbers are where we really start to see a bit of a difference. 14 for the Suns and 9 for the Clippers. Now, of course, on the Suns team, we've seen games where Chris Paul goes without getting a single turnover and he'll have like 15 assists, which is absolutely crazy there. And that's one thing that really the turnovers need to be stopped. The other major thing is the amount of points in the paint. If we look at this in the advanced stats here, we can see that the Suns had 32, while the Clippers actually had 58, which is pretty insane. They were also fouling a lot more, Phoenix, which could have resulted in a lot more of those looks. Personally, I think Devin Booker, he needs to step up his game if the Suns want to win the next one. And Chris Paul needs to shake off a little bit of that rust. But, well, we've seen it now. Paul George is not messing around. And they put their team in a manageable position to come back now, 3-2. Is it unlikely? Yes. But is it possible? Also, yes. So, particularly as well, their role players seem to be carrying the load while Kawhi Leonard is out. We see Marcus Morris Sr. and Reggie Jackson with very high scoring nights. And, credits to Reggie Jackson. He's been doing really well at the moment, having a really, really good postseason with his scoring. But yeah, that's going to do it for this playoffs game today. The Clippers take it, and Paul George shows everyone that he is in fact not a bust, I guess. So that's going to end it here. Check in tomorrow when we're going to cover the Atlanta Hawks vs Bucks game and see what's going on over there. Let's see if Chris Middleton pops off again. Anyway, that's going to be it from me. I hope you guys